Okay, so today we will start about the C sharp. So this few lectures uh, are related to C sharp only. So C sharp is what? C sharp is a programming language which we can where we can write the code in the .NET platform. So first of all, how to start the .NET and where is the software and all this. So Microsoft has Visual Studio. So that Visual Studio package is having the different languages like VB.NET, C Sharp, F Sharp, VC++. So in .NET there are different versions. So .NET was started with .NET Framework 1.0, then 1.1, then 2.0, then 4.0, 4.5, and so on. So, but we will write the code in the 4.0, that is Visual Studio 2010. Same code you can execute in your later version like 4.5 or the next versions. So when you can install multiple versions of .NET into your system. Like you can install Visual Studio 2010 as well as you want to install Visual Studio 2015. So there is no problem. Windows operating system allow you to install multiple Visual Studios onto the operating system. So how to open that first of all? So if you have Windows 10 or Windows 8 on your machine, then you just click on this Windows, that button, okay, and write for the Visual Studio. So if you see here, Visual Studio 2010 automatically comes. So it says, so let me click on this. So it shows that you have Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 Professional Edition. Okay, so let it open. So same you will see when you open the Visual Studio 2015. Okay, so let me close it. There is other way to open it through the command prompt. You just go to run and write dev-env, D-E-V-E-N-V. So what it will do, it will open the Visual Studio, which is the latest version on your system. So for example, you have installed Visual Studio 2010 and 2015. So in that case, 2015 is the latest version. So if you want to open with the command, then you can go to the run and write DEVNENV. So dev-env and click OK. So this will also open the Visual Studio. Okay. So now this is the platform where I will write my C# code. Now if you see this screen is on the left hand side. You will find that connect to Team Foundation server, new project, open project. So connect to Team Foundation server is what? That probably uh, we will talk about later on, maybe at the end of the uh, C# tutorials. The reason is Team Foundation server is a repository where you store your code. So for example, there is a repository where your code is stored. So we write the code we check in into the Team Foundation server and check out. So check in means uh, you have written a program and you want to store it at one location where the authorized users or the other developers can access it. So you are a developer and you have a team lead. Your team lead wants to review your code. So what he will do, he will go to the team foundation server and he can get that version of your current version which is in the team foundation server, and he will consider that this is the latest code. So if you check out, so it will clearly shows there that it is your code is check out. It means you are working on that, so that is not the latest code. So once you finish your code, you basically check in the code will store it into the team foundation server. So team foundation server is a separate software where you can store or check in check out your code. So that team foundation server right now we are not actually that is also not installed on my system, but most of the time it's on the remote machine. So on the remote machine, because that will be on the centralized location. Okay, so that is in the centralized locations mean so that everyone can access it. Okay, so this one we will talk about later on. New project. New project means you are going to write a new application. So when you use the new application, it means you are about to write a new program in the C sharp or the other languages. New project does not mean that it's a uh, C sharp code only. It can be the different languages as well. So what you need to do, you need to click on new project. If you see here Visual Basic, Visual C Sharp, Visual C++. So means it depends on which language you want to write the code. So that could be Visual. So we will use the Visual C Sharp. So I will select this. Okay. So it could happen that you have already one code, you want to open that project. So once you click on this open project, so it will ask where is your code is stored. For example, there are some so this is SLN file, which is a solution file. So if I open it, it means it will open my existing project. So this is the three things that to start your project or open your project. Recent project basically indicates, so for example, you worked on multiple projects. So in this case, if you see MVC application 2, 4, 1, web application, console application. So it will show you that on, so for example, recently I worked on MVC application 2 project. So it shows that if you want to open, you need not to go to open project and open that application. We can directly click on this and it will open the project. Okay, so this is the other way to open the project. So but this is the reset one which you have opened. So it's a quick start of your project. So this is the way that you can open your project. So down here you can see close page after uh, project load. So what it will do, it will basically uh, this page, this is the page, right, which is a startup page. You want to close it when you open a new project or open a existing project. If you check it, then it means it will close it. Show page on the startup page, it is talking about start page. So this is the start page entire. So it is saying that show the start page on the startup. It means you want to see this page in the beginning. So now you may be thinking that if I don't see this page, how can I open a new project or open the existing project? We have other options in the menu as well. So here you can see new open project, okay, or open project or solutions. And down here you can see recent projects. So anything so these all are having the alternative. So now it is up to us that whether we want to see this page or not. So if you don't want to see, you just unselect this and show page on the startup. On the right hand side, you will see some information which is given by the Microsoft. Okay, so here there is some information if you want to go through the what is latest in the 2010. Okay, actually this is framework 4.0, what is new in the C sharp. So these actually move you to the respective web pages. Okay, and these are again some more features, you can check it out. Guidance and resources, again that is more related to the C sharp or your Visual Studio. Here you can see what is the development process, and not only that, so if you see development process, great software development start solid, understanding development process. So this is basically some web pages. MSDN resources. MSDN is nothing but the Microsoft dictionary, where you can see the if you want to see that what is the purpose of this particular code or particular keyword, you can go and check it in the MSDN. So this is now online. Earlier that when Visual Studio uh, 6, which was not a .NET, it was the Visual Studio which is coming with the VB6 or ASP, which is the older technology. At that time, internet was not that much popular, but so they were having a CD for that, CD or DVD, so that we can, uh, copy that MSDN onto our system, and most of the time it comes along with the Visual Studio software. So you can, if you want to find some keywords meaning or how examples, etc., so that time you use that MSDN. But these days internet is very popular and very easy to use, so MSDN you can see it in the web only. So you can go to the Microsoft website and there you can see the MSDN. Any latest news which is related to uh, uh, Microsoft Visual Studio, that also you can see. So enable RSS feed is the another way that RSS feed, if you enable it, what will happen, that new news information will come to your pages. So here RSS feed. So let me create a new project. So as I am writing the program in C sharp, so I will select Visual C sharp. And if you are developing the application in Visual Basic, you will select the Visual Basic. So C sharp is more structured programming language. So that is why most of the people or the projects you will see in the C sharp. So here I'm going to start with the console application. The reason of starting the console application is that because first we will learn that how the basic concepts of C sharp. So once we get familiar, then we can develop the application in Windows or web forms. So to learn the basic code of C sharp, the best way is that you have to choose the console application. Okay, so here I have selected Visual C sharp, then console application. Here I can give the any name for this. So I'm saying uh, basic console application, or I will say CA. So basic console application. So this is the name of your project. Okay. Now down there it says location. Locations mean where you want to store this project. So this is the default location that is showing on my system, but you can change anytime. So for example, I want to create this project. So I want to store this project into my specified or particular location. So I will go to the C and let me create a folder. Okay, I call it C sharp tutorials. Okay, so I will just call it C sharp tutorial. Now you can see the folder name comes as C sharp tutorial. Select the folder. Okay, so now my project will be stored in the C sharp tutorial folder. Solution name. See, there is a difference between solution and project. Solution is collection of project. Okay, solution is collection, means in one solution we can store multiple projects. So what it is saying, what is your solution name? It is up to you that you want to create the same name as the project name, or you can make it different. So if I will say application instead of CA. Okay. So I give a different name to my solution. My project name is basic CA console application, and here I write the, so just to differentiate this. Now on the right hand side you see create a directory for the solution. What it means, it says that if this on this folder C sharp tutorials, shall I create a directory for the solution, means it will create a directory called basic C application, so that you will have a specific folder. Under that folder you will have the projects. So I say okay, and next is add to source control. That is for your team foundation server, means you want to point to a server, right, where you want to store your code. So at this moment we are not storing that code into the team foundation server, so I'm just taking this out and I say okay. So now on the top you can see this is the project name. How do you identify this is a project or solution? So here you can see this symbol C sharp. So this indicates that this is a project. Okay, and .cs, a file which is created with .cs is called the C sharp. So it means this project is in the C sharp. But I don't see the solution. I can see the solution explorer. So what this solution explorer indicates, that uh, it basically gives you the view of your solution and the projects. Project is further consisted of files and folders. So we will talk about projects more, but I don't see that basic C application. So for that, if you don't see the solution in your solution explorer, you need to go to tools options. Project and solution. Always show the solution. So this you need to tick mark and say OK. So now you see there is one more in this hierarchy. There is one more layer which is called Solution Basic C application. Okay. So this indicates that, and it is saying one project, means as I told you that solution is the collection of projects. So in this case it is saying there is only one project in it, that is basic CA. And if you want to see where the location of the file, you just right click on this, open folder in Windows Explorer. So if you remember that when we were storing, it was stored into the C Sharp tutorials basic C applications. So this is the solution folder. And underneath this, you can see there is one basic C application which is called solution file. So extension of this is SLN. So SLN, if you see a file with the extension SLN, means it is a solution file. And this solution file is consisting of the projects. So you need not to store separately this basic CA means there should not what I would say. Okay, this basic CA is basically the part of this solution file. So let me show you. Let me close this. Okay, now let me open it. So just use right click, open with the Visual Studio 2010. Okay, you see the same project is open. Okay, so this is my solution and this is my project. Okay, so under the solution, this is the project which is stored. So if you see, this is CS file and CSPROJ file. It indicates the project file. And project file is nothing but this structure, basic CA, and it has the program.cs and references. We will talk about references. So let me close my application one more time, and let me open this with the Visual Studio CS project file. So if you see, the same thing is open, basic CA, and it is under the solution file. Now this is my one project. Now solution, as I told you, it can accommodate more than one project. So if you want to add one more project, what you can do, just right click on this, add new project. Where you are right clicking? You are right clicking on the solution. If you right click and add, it give you the option that it's a new project, new website, existing project, existing item, so many things. But when you right click on your project, you will not find that option, add a new project. It's a add new item, means you want to add the item into the project. So you can add the new project into the solution. Okay, if you want to add the multiple projects. So whenever you are opening that solution file, it will show you all the projects.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Now let us see what is this, what it is having. So in my console application, which is C# application, it is having the folder properties, references, and one file program.cs. So wherever you see CS, it is the C sharp. Okay. So in properties, we see one file which is called assemblyinfo.cs. If I double click on it, it will show me this file. This is again CS, which is a C sharp. So assembly is what? Assembly at this time we will talk about in detail in assembly, but at this moment you can say that it is a file which stores the basic information of your project, like what is the title, okay, copyright information, and there is a version information. So these details are basically stored into the assemblyinfo.cs file. So if you execute your application, when you execute your application, especially in the console application or Windows application, so if I go and open the folder, and so there is one bin folder, and under bin there is a debug folder. So here you can see there are two files, which is a manifest file and one is the application file. As we have not uh, compiled this application so far, so once we compile our application, it will have one more file, which is the exe file, which is called assembly. So once that assembly file creates, this information will be attached with this. Okay. So now this is my assembly.info.cs. Now next is the references. See, whenever we are developing a program in C# or any language in .NET, we need some references. For example, I want to print a message, and when I print a message, then I use some codes, console.writeLine and hello world. So when I do this, at that time, this console.writeLine is written somewhere. It is in some file, or it is in some DLL. So we will talk about DLL, but DLL is a library, and library is basically the collection of your classes. So collection of your classes, namespace and classes. So that data is stored into a separate application, and that application is, or that DLL is used for the multiple projects. Now if you want to use that, you need to add a reference. If you see here system, so system is one assembly what we call the executable or the DLL of the .NET application, system.core. So here when I add this system, then I can use this namespace using system. Okay, so it can have further namespaces or the child namespaces like solution has collection has generic, system has link, and so if you want to add your custom reference, you can add it over here. Or if you want to add a reference which is Microsoft is providing, you can add it. For that, what you need to do, you just right click on this and click on add reference. So when you are adding a reference, it will ask whether you want to add a reference which is provided by .NET or whether it is a COM. So COM is something which is older versions of the Visual Studio was providing. If you want to add that, you can add the COM as well. Okay, so these are the older versions of Visual Studio's DLL, so you can add as well. Project. means as so far we are having only one project. If there are multiple projects, it will show that list. I want to refer that project into my this project. So if you want to embed that project into this project, you can see in the projects. Browse. That there is a possibility that you have a separate DLL or the DLL which is compatible with the .NET and you want to add it. Then what you can do, you can go to the browse, select that DLL and say OK. So down here if you see component files which it can add is DLL, TLB, OLB. So these are OCX, EXE, manifest. Okay, and recent indicates that the one which you have recently added. So references is basically indicates that if you in your system you want to use the code of the other assemblies or other applications. Now there is a program.cs file. CS is C#. Okay, so program.cs file. So in this file this code is written. If you see these tabs, right? So if you see tab program.cs, it means this is the program.cs file is open. Now here on the top you have seen some using. I'm removing this at this moment. Now namespace basic CA. So what is namespace first of all? Namespace indicates your collection of, so this is what, collection of classes or structures. So how to use this, that we will talk in detail, but at this moment you can see basic CA is a namespace which has one class which is called program.cs. Every project, whether it's a website, whether it is a Windows application, whether it is a console application, has a entry point from where it starts. So for example, you are running your application and you are expecting some output. In console.application, main is the method which is the starting point of your console application. Means when you execute it, the lines which are written in the sequence of main method are getting executed. So let me show you here. I'm saying system dot console dot write line, and in the double quotes I'm writing one hello world semicolon. So every statement in C# is ended with the semicolon. So here this is the code. Now to execute this code, what you will do, either you can click on this start debugging, okay, or if you want to build it first, so you need to go to the build and build solution. Once you say build solution, it will build for all the projects which is in the solution. And if you say build basic CA is my one project. So if you want to build this, so before that I want to show you here, there are two files in the bin directory of my project debug, right? So I say build basic CA. You can choose any of these two options. So down you can see build succeeded. So it means there is no error. Now let me go back here. Now you can see there are two files get created. One is basic, which is a exe, basic CA, which is an application, and extension is exe of this. And there is a one debug file where you can, which is helpful to debugging your program. Means if you want to see output line by line. Okay, so now these two files has been created. Now let me run it. So you can click on this play button. So you see that hello world came and goes off, right? So what you can do here, you just want to say system dot console dot readline. So readline is nothing but it will expect enter key to to end the program. So if I run it again, now you see this hello world is coming out. This hello world application, how it is coming out? Because main is my starting point of the console application, and this code system.console.writeLine, this code is writing into multiple lines because I have only one line I have written here, hello world, so it prints that into the output window. And readline, when you use readline, it basically, this cursor is blinking, it is expecting that I'm writing something, or I press enter key, then it will end the program, because after readline there is no code, so my program will end after that. Okay, so same thing you can execute if you want to execute multiple lines. So what you will write again, system dot console I'm sorry dot write line hello India. Okay, so let me run it again. So now you see multiple lines are there, hello world and hello India, and the cursor which is blinking, it is expecting an enter key because of the read line.
So if we do not enter the read line command, so it will pop up and go, right, sir?
Yes, exactly. So if I remove this and if I execute again, so it comes and go, right? So to just see the output, what we will do, we will write system.readline so that it will stay, and it is expecting I will press the enter key, then it will end the program. Now here the thing is, I'm writing system dot. Now system is nothing but it is a namespace like this. Okay, as I told you that we will talk more on the so I'm writing system dot. This system is nothing but a namespace. So namespace, if you don't want to write system again and again, you just write using system. So now you can remove this because system has class console inside it, and I am using that console class. Okay, so in that case, no need to write system again and again. You just use on the top by saying using system, and then you can write your code without system dot. Now, there is one more important thing is that this is only 3 lines code. You understand it, and you can read it, but as your program grows, so there could be multiple files, there could be multiple lines of code, and you want to have some comments on that. So say an example, I want to put some description, so you will put double slash. So double slash indicates that you are writing some comments, and that comments will never execute. So I'm saying this is the code to print hello world. Okay, and same way if you want to write for the other, So you can write double slash. This is the code to print hello India. So if you want to, so the scope of this comment is started from here until end of the line, and this is also till end of the line. Now if you have multiple lines, so slash asterisk and asterisk slash. So if you want to write this is the code for hello world and hello India. So now I'm writing the multiple lines into my comments. Okay, so this code will never execute. This is just for the developer purpose, that what he's writing, or to give to the some other person so that he can read this comment and understand the code. Okay, so when we are writing a program, this is very basic. This is just a startup of the C#. So when you are writing a program, you are not only printing the messages, you are um, doing some calculations as well. For the calculation purpose, see in C sharp, or C sharp is a object oriented language. In object oriented language, it follows the principles of the object oriented. So this is the class. So class is the uh, basic building block of the object oriented language. So here you see this is the main. What is this? This is the entry point. And whenever you see something like this, I say main bracket. So it is a method, or we call function, or subroutine, or procedure. Procedure and function is little bit different, but here I can write as at this time that this is procedure as well. So difference is what that we will discuss later on. And the thing which is written inside this is optional. Actually, this is the argument which we pass into the code that we will see later on. Static void main. Static is again optional. So if I execute my code, oh, sorry, static is, I'm really sorry, static is not optional. Static void main is required. So if I execute it, see the output is same. I have removed that arguments from there. Okay. So if you see here, the output is same. The comments are not executed, right? Now, if you want to, in some cases, what happens, for example, you are getting some problem in your program. It is not executing, or there are some issues, and you want to debug it. So for example, if I say int is integer I, comma j. So I have two variables, I and j. I is equal to 2, semicolon, j equals to, say, 5. Now I want to print console.writeLine sum equals to I into j. I'm writing wrong code. I'm saying 0 means first argument, after comma first argument it will print. So I'm saying sum equals to I comma j. So logically I am writing wrong. So if you see that it says sum equals to 10, but I am expecting sum equals to 7. So it means there is some logical problem. So what I will do, I will go here. I want to debug my code. Debug means I want to see what the each line is doing. So what I will do, I will press F9. So this is called breakpoint. So I'm putting a breakpoint, F9 key I have pressed. Now I execute my program. See, my program is stopped here. Now I press F10, which step in. So it says, and down also if you see this, it will show that till now j is 0, I is 2. Again I press F10. Now it says I is. Now I come to know instead of multiplication I need to use plus. That is the mistake. So you are debugging the code. You are checking that what is happening with my code. So here you stop your program. You correct your code and you don't want it. Either go there and press F9 or you just click over here. It will remove the breakpoint. Now I execute again. So it gives me the sum equals to 7, which is now I'm thinking it's a correct result. Okay. So this is what happens when you put a breakpoint to your application. So breakpoint, there are two. Okay. To put the breakpoint, you press F9. F9 and step over. Step over means there is one step into and step over. Step over means it will just, for example, you have a method which is to execute and you want to go into that method, then you will press F11. And if you want to skip that and you just say, okay, whatever the method is doing, I'm not bothering, you then you press F10. For step over means F10 and step into F11. These keys are, very important while you are debugging your code. Okay, so these are the thing for our first tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions. Then we can discuss